Hey YouTube, this is Cliff here with Hamilton Transportation. Today I'm down here at the Port of Baltimore. We're picking up a Cat 330, taking it up to Poughkeepsie, New York. This is the biggest cat excavator I've ever hauled, 68,000 pounds. We are at the port and I am picking up this Cat 330. So this is the biggest cat excavator I've ever hauled. It's supposed to be about 68,000 pounds. Just doing a quick walk around on it. They told me this was an F8, but I think they pulled it forward into this side. So I'm gonna have to drive it. Probably drive it down and around to get it over to the other side. So let's see if we can get her started and head over there. So I did my walk around. I didn't see any damage on it. This guy's kind of in the way. All right, she fired right up. Okay. Going to go ahead and put the boom all the way up and give ourselves a little room here. Let's see, and if we set you guys up there, kind of see what's going on. Oh, it's beeping because of a seatbelt. Let me put that on. There we go. All right. Just waiting for a guy to pick up. I don't know where he's going. Let's see if I can go down that way. Noticed there was a hole through here, so we're gonna go through here. Boy, they haven't done a whole lot to clear snow down here. So I'm gonna leave this thing here, and we will go get the truck unhooked and the trailer ready, and then I'll come back and get this, and then we'll load her up. Alright, first things first, gotta get some chains and stuff out. So last week I ran all the way out to Oklahoma. I took in a Volvo A30 articulated dump truck. It was like 1,300 miles, almost 1,300 miles out to Oklahoma. It was paying a really good rate, which is why I took it. The problem was, I guess we picked the wrong week to go to Oklahoma.
I picked the wrong week to quit sniffing glue.
Because we got out there and then there was nothing coming east. So I figured I would deadhead, you know, and we just keep an eye out until something pops up, and then we take the first thing, you know, to make a little bit of money on the way home. So we ran, so we dropped that on Wednesday. So Wednesday we didn't find anything. Thursday we ran all the way to Richmond, Indiana, and there was nothing. A couple loads we called on, but they didn't work out. You know, either they got covered or, you know, the broker ghosted us, stuff like that. So then we thought we had one Friday. We had a big bulldozer, I think it was a bulldozer, picking up out near Pittsburgh, which is almost all the way home. And then they ghosted us. So they said they'd send us a rate-con Thursday afternoon. And then Friday, I think it was about 9 o'clock in the morning on Friday, they called and said, hey, is your guy going to pick this up? I said, well, no, we're already past it, and it's snowing. So, and no oversize is allowed on the road when there's any restrictions because of snow. So we ended up deadheading almost 1,300 miles home from Oklahoma, which is not good. That definitely made that good paying load into a not so good paying load. So I don't know, that was a big swing and a big miss. But it always seems to be that there's a reason why we don't get anything. Because Friday morning, I got up and I was headed home from Indiana, and my check engine light came on in this thing. And then it lost power. Not completely dead, but you know, usually this thing will boost up to about 27 pounds of boost. Anyway, usually this truck will boost to about 27 pounds of boost, and it was down to about 20. So it would start, like I'd get to a hill and start pulling, and it would go up to its normal, like 26, 27, and then it would slowly fall off to about 20 pounds of boost. So, they were able to see that it was low fuel pressure, so we ended up taking it into the shop there in Carlisle, and we got it in there about 3 o'clock on Friday, and they figured it was just a plugged fuel filter. So they replaced both the fuel filters, and then while they were at it, they found that there was a small EGR leak. So I don't know if they replaced the gasket or just had to tighten it up or what they did, but they cleaned it off, stopped the leak, and then did a road test, made sure it wasn't leaking anymore. And then the lease is expensive, but it's situations like this where I think, man, it's worth it, because got in at 3 o'clock on Friday. We had it back Saturday afternoon, so it was about 3 o'clock on Saturday. They were just closing up shop, and they said, you're done if you want to come get it. So we went in Saturday and picked it up, and we are running on Monday morning. So if you figure this truck makes me gross average of probably $1,500 a day that I can work a full day, having it down in the shop cost me $1,500 gross revenue. So there you go. That's $1,500 right there, just in one day saved, which is the reason why it's the reason why I think this lease is worth it, you know. All right, let's get this bad boy loaded up. Oh, I ought to measure the tracks real quick. Make sure we are at 10.6. It looks like it's 10.6. But if it's 11, I should probably put outriggers out. So I'm just going to check to make sure. Got a new tape measure. Surplus City, $10 for actually I think it was $11 for a Craftsman 25-foot tape. Pretty good. And where are we at? 10, 11. We are 11.2 on this one. So that means I probably need to put some boards out. All right, let's go do that. And actually, I'm probably going to back this up a little bit, just so I'm not all in the way of anybody trying to get through here. Now, let's get my outrigger set up and my boards out so we can get this on the trailer. Oh, I ought to grab some WD-40 and spray everything down, because it's been nasty with road salt here lately. Everything's coated, and it probably isn't going to want to work. So, old WD-40. This one, the top of it leaks a little bit every time you spray it. So, I don't know. It's kind of annoying. Oh, did I say where this thing is going? This load is going up to Poughkeepsie, New York. So I'm just gonna spray everything. Just a little juice on everything. I don't know if you guys watch Vice Grip Garage. That's what he calls everything. He puts juice on everything. I think the last time I did this, I know I did 8. I'm trying to remember how far back I put the boards. I think we start there. But it might be here. I'm gonna start here. I loaded a Volvo, a big excavator, and I had to put it way back to get the weight right. Of course, that one was going to Connecticut. I don't think that one towards the back needs to be out. I think that's where we need to be. Okay. Now we gotta get these boards. frozen together. This one's seen better days. My plan was to get some new ones when I was at Keene last week, but I didn't. So there you go. All right. We'll see what that does. All right. Let's get this thing up onto the trailer, shall we? We shall. Oh my gosh, I can't stand it. All right, guys. Now, let's get it loaded up. Now, it's important to be exactly centered here. That's the problem I ran into with the Volvo I loaded the other week. It was an 11.2 wide track, and I didn't have it completely straight, and it kind of slid off. So I actually got on fine the first time, and then see, we're still not over far enough. But I got it on straight the first time and drove it all the way onto the trailer, and then I had to reposition it because it was too heavy towards the front of the trailer. And when I tried to reposition it, it started sliding off the end here to the side. So that was no good. Alright, let's put our boom down. So that was no good. That was a little scary. But I was able to back it off and save it before it actually started sliding. So yeah, because it's a little wider than the trailer here back at the back. So you got to make sure you're centered exactly where it can slide on you. Once you're on the boards, you're golden, but it's just getting it up there to the boards that can be a challenge. Alright, so we're the second board in. I'm just going to go slow. Keep her straight. Now I think we're onto the boards. We just keep on creeping our way back here. Keep it nice and straight. This one is pretty smooth. That Volvo I ran, it was jerky. So the hydraulics were real touchy on it. And I had a hard time keeping it from jerking around, which made it a challenge getting it loaded up. think that looks pretty good. So let me get the truck hooked back up. Oh, I have something else to show you guys. So I had talked in a previous video about getting some Blue Ink Tech or Bit air scales. So they came in on Saturday, got to the house on Saturday. So now, you think that's high? Doesn't look real high. I think we're okay. So I want to show you guys where I installed them and tell you how they're supposed to work, and then we'll see if they work today. So that's one. So this little sensor here, that's the Blue Ink air scale. So you just put a T in on your airline going to your airbag, and then I just have a little line going up to this sensor, and then that connects Bluetooth to your phone, and based on the pressure in your airbags, it has a program it uses that tells you your weight. And let me show you the one on the truck as well. So I have one on the scales on my trailer, or on the airbags on my trailer, and then the other one installed right there on the truck. So it's the same thing. So they say to put it as close to the leveling valve as you can. So that's my leveling valve right there, and then it has an airline going right over there to the airbag, and that's where I put the sensor. So same thing back here. It sees the pressure on your airbags on the truck and the trailer, and then so you have to calibrate it. So yesterday I fueled up and went and I scaled myself empty and put those weights into the program. Now today, when we leave, we will hit a scale. It's probably going to be up around Harrisburg. I'll try the TA here, but it's usually really busy. So we'll hit a scale today and we'll weigh this heavy, and then based on those, it will be able to determine our gross weight and axle weights based on those, even the steer axle. So it's pretty cool. So we will have to see how those work today. All right, let's get hooked back up. Now this one's real heavy, so I got to figure out the weights on this right away. The scales won't work until we calibrate it with a heavy load, so I still got to do my old technique of guesstimating based on gauge pressures with this one. Alright, so I'm going to air up this thing and we'll get some gauge pressures, and then we'll figure out where we need to pull permits, and then I will check back in with you guys. We'll get it chained down and hopefully get out of here in a decent amount of time today. Alright guys, so our drive axles in the cab, on the gauge in the cab, is showing 80 psi. It was showing 79, now it bumped up to 80, but in the app it's showing the PSI at 79.19. It's showing the trailer axle at 68.6. It shows on the gauge back there on the Tridem, it shows 73. So based on our estimations, the way we usually do it, we're going to pull our permits. We're going to max our steer at 14.3. I did slide my fifth wheel back to a 15-inch from the center of my tandem, so I was running it at 17, but because we hauled that drill rig a couple weeks ago, and it put our steer right up near our max. It was like 14.1 and our max is 14.3. So, and that was very similar to this. It was probably, I think it was 43,000 pounds on our tandem. So I decided to slide that back a little bit. That'll take a little weight off of our steer axle, hopefully enough, you know, that we won't be over on that. We're going to permit this at 14.3, 45, and 56 for Maryland and Pennsylvania. I'm going to scale this probably up around Harrisburg, and then we can put in our loaded calibration in the program, and then we should get some weights out of that. I mean, it'll be right on this one. We'll see if it's right on the next one, I guess. So yeah, I'm going to leave it where it is. We're a little heavy on the drives. But it's, I mean, we're not heavy for Maryland, Pennsylvania, New York. They all give you 46 on your tandem. So we're good as far as weights go. I just got to get this thing chained down, and then we will be ready to hit the road. So let's do that. Oh, and banners and stuff. We got to do that, and an exhaust cover. And we should probably shut it off. Trailer got dirty. All right, she is chained down. So I'm gonna get some flags on it. I'm probably gonna put a height stick up there just to make sure we're not high, and then we will be ready to hit the road. All right, let's roll. Signal. See if it improves as we get out here. If not, I'll probably have to restart it. So I took pictures of this thing and was sending them to Jen, and apparently my phone didn't have a very good signal, so I'm restarting my phone, see if I can pick up a little better signal on that. We can get pictures sent, but we are all loaded, flagged, we are rolling, we're heavy, so if the weight is right on this thing, that should put us around 114,000 pounds, maybe a little bit less than that. So I usually don't go much heavier than this. Much heavier than this, and it is hard to get the axles within legal weights. Well, my tandem on the truck anyway, my drive axles. So I guess I could load this backwards, but I can get it for Maryland, Pennsylvania, and New York. I can get my drives legal. So, okay, there it looks like I have a better signal. Shouldn't be playing with my phone. I'm trying to get out of here. I don't know if you guys watch, there's a channel called Lucky Banana, and he's a Canadian guy. He used to work for, I guess he still works for him. He's an owner-operator now, but he was a company driver for Belmare, and I see him making videos all the time of him picking stuff off the port here in Baltimore, but I've never seen him down here. I always thought it would be cool to see him at the port and say what's up. But it's a good channel. He does a lot heavier than me. I was watching one this weekend where he was pulling a Cat 352, I think, big excavator. Took it from the port down here. So he has I think he has a 3-axle truck, and then he runs a Jeep and a 4-axle trailer. So a 2-axle Jeep and a 4-axle trailer. So he was grossing like 172,000 pounds. So it's a whole lot more than I do. But it's cool to watch him. He was making his way up through New York, and it was snow covered, and, you know, down into the low gears, going up hills and stuff. So that was pretty cool. So check him out if you've never seen it. Lucky Banana is the name of his channel. All right, I better try to send these pictures and call Jen back. She'll get mad at me. Not really, but oh, and Lucky Banana, he has a basset hound named Fred, so which is the right name for a basset hound in a truck.
What is the matter with you, Fred? That's it for you in a truck driving, I'll tell you that right now.
I have to turn off my Wi-Fi. Sometimes the camera, the Insta360 camera, it connects using Wi-Fi to my phone, and sometimes it'll connect and then my phone tries to use the camera for internet, which of course doesn't work. But I have to turn off my Wi-Fi in order to get it to do anything. How you doing?
These people don't understand. No matter what you do, this side over here,
Yep.
for oversight.
Right.
They still coming this side, and the other place, the other lane is open. They're
Yeah.
not going over there. Huh?
So they all wait for no reason.
Yeah.
Yep. Hey, have a good one. It's like it has a ton of axles and they're all hydraulic. Looks like a Caterpillar, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's cool. So, making a left up here on Boston Street. This is the oversized route out of Baltimore. We drive right past a truck stop down here, and they have a cat scale. The problem is this truck stop is not very big and it's always super busy. And I'm thinking it's going to be packed because it's 11:30, you know, everybody will be stopping for lunch. So we will see. I don't know. I might be able to stop here and get a scale weight. Just depends, you know, how busy it is. Sorry, I'm just trying to make sure that I'm still recording with my mic. The thing shuts off every once in a while and then there's no audio at all and a worthless video then. It doesn't look super busy. Should we just hit this cat scale? Alright, let's hit this cat scale. And of course we got a guy who can't just pull in. He's actually weighing because he's empty. Alright, let's pull up the handy dandy weigh my truck app. I'll actually be able to get a weight on this thing. And then I'm probably going to get out and do a calibration. Oh yeah. Nice. Okay, so let's open this up. Go to air scales. Okay. So I don't know, this is weird. When I installed the air scales, I used my cell phone. But it's the same account that I'm logged in as on my tablet. So now the sensors are only working with my cell phone, which I guess is okay because I can just pull it up on my cell phone to get weights. So, but anyway, we got her weighed. We're 111,680 gross. So we're 13,900 on the steer, 44,040 pounds on the drive, 53,740 pounds on the Tridem, on the trailer. So we're good to go. Everything is good, but now Jen can pull our permits and we can head on up the road. So I don't know, I don't mind using my phone. I guess that's just what we'll have to do. We'll just have to use my phone for scale weights, for the air scales. But the scale weights will come up. Jen can see the scale weights from the house on her computer. So that's the biggest part of this, is we have actual weights that she gets real time on her computer so she can pull permits with them. Driving past and it didn't look busy, so I figured I'm just going to duck in and get weights. Yeah. Hey guys. We got a couple miles here before we get to the hotel we're staying at tonight. So, the problem we always run into when we come up this way, you are limited on the times you are allowed to go across the Hudson on the Newburgh Beacon Bridge with an oversized load. So, you have to pull a permit for the bridge, and then you are limited. I think it's, you're not allowed to go across between 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. So, it is 4 o'clock right now. So we didn't make it up to the bridge in time to get across. We could get farther up there, but then you're also limited from 6:30 or from 6 to 8:30 in the morning. So I'm not allowed to go across the bridge until 8:30 in the morning. So we were looking for hotels, and there are 2 hotels in Newburgh, New York, and the reviews on both of them are absolutely awful, like cockroaches and bed bugs and stuff not working, sticky, and just gross. So I am usually not very picky about hotels. If it has a bed and a shower, I'm pretty happy. But those 2 look really awful, so I'm not going to do that. There is a hotel in Lake Ariel, PA. It's a Comfort Inn right beside an IHOP. I've stayed there before. It's a little pricey. It's like $108. I think we got it for $96 today. But we have choice privileges, and we got a little discount for that. So $96. It's a good hotel. It puts us 93 miles from delivery in the morning. So I will leave out, depending on sunrise, I will leave out to get me to the bridge around 8:30 in the morning. And then we'll go across that at 8:30 and be up there to deliver as quickly as possible. And then I think we got another load. I still have to send, he wants a picture of the VIN on the truck to make sure that we're insured, which is not a problem. I'll do that once we get stopped at the hotel. But it is a Komatsu D61 bulldozer, and it's going down to Virginia. So my plan is to get this big cat excavator delivered in the morning, and then I will head over there and pick that bulldozer up and take it home tomorrow. Be home tomorrow night, and then Wednesday morning I'll run that down to I think it's like Orkney Hills, Virginia. So it's west of Winchester, off of 81. And then we'll see what we can get from there. So that is the plan for tonight. It's probably going to be, like my dad used to say, colder than a well digger's ass up here in the morning. But we'll be nice warm in the hotel. So this is where we shall stay. Not bad today. Loading up. It wasn't even that cold down there at Baltimore. So we got it loaded up, and then no problems running up here. I wonder if they shoveled the snow off the path up to the hotel. So apparently this hotel owns all of this property here. They own the IHOP, or the same company or guy owns the IHOP and the truck stop here. So they own the parking behind the IHOP as well. And they said that is where they want us to park, is at the IHOP. So I have seen trucks parked up at the hotel before, but the lady at the counter, she said, no, don't bring that thing up here. So we will park down here at the IHOP. It's pretty early in the day. It's only like 4 o'clock, so should be able to get a spot pretty easily. It sucks having to shut it down this early, but like I said, you're not allowed to cross the bridge, and then it's pretty much 6 on one, half dozen on the other as far as getting delivered on time tomorrow, because we can't cross that bridge until 8:30 in the morning anyway. Let's see, what do we got here? There's a couple up front there. Might back into one of those. Actually, I think I'll just park next to this tanker here. Doesn't get much easier than that, does it? Just pull straight up. Well, that's going to about do it for tonight. So I'm going to get my stuff together, and it doesn't look like they shoveled that path up there. So I'm either going to have to walk through the snow. Oh, they might have. I'm either going to have to walk through the snow or walk out to the road and walk up to the hotel. Either way, it'll be all right. So anyway, I'm going to get my stuff together and head right next door to the hotel. And then I'll be up in the morning. I ought to check what time sunrise is. 7:03. So, and I think, yeah, let's do that. I'm going to put a point, I'm going to drop a pin over on the Newburgh Beacon Bridge and see how long it'll take me to get there, because that will determine what time I leave in the morning. Alright, so I'm about 80 miles from the bridge, so hour and 20 minutes. So probably leave right around 7 o'clock, and that'll get me over there around 8:30. So that actually works out pretty nice. I can leave right at sunrise and get over there right on time. Alright guys, I will see you in the morning when we hit the road again and get up to Poughkeepsie, New York to get this Cat 330 delivered. Morning everybody. It is about 2 o'clock on that. Okay, it's a little after 7 o'clock this morning. I'm just sitting here letting the truck warm up, waiting. We're not allowed to cross the Newburgh Beacon Bridge until 8:30, but we are about an hour and 20 minutes from there, so I'm about to hit the road. We should get there right around 8:30 and be able to roll right across. Yeah, and then we can get this thing delivered. So I've been messing with those air scales that I got installed. I don't know if it's the cold or what it is. I'm having a hard time with them, getting them connected. So I weighed this thing yesterday and then calibrated it, and I was trying to run it off of my tablet, but my tablet will not connect to the sensors. It did once yesterday, but I was messing with it off and on like all day, and then I messed with it for probably 20 minutes when I got here last night, and I can't get my tablet to connect to the things. So I've started running my logs on my phone, because my phone was connecting to them yesterday without a problem. Now here this morning they won't connect, but I think bouncing back and forth between the tablet and my phone has kind of got them screwed up too. So we did get a weight out of it yesterday when we loaded. Well, I mean, but I put that weight in with the scale ticket. So I don't know. It's pretty frustrating. I'm also thinking maybe the cold has something to do with it. It's been really cold here, and maybe the batteries and the sensors aren't working very well because of the cold, and it's having trouble connecting because of that. So I'm just going to keep messing with it. I am going to run my logs on my phone because it is connecting to the sensors a lot better than my tablet is. So we'll try that. Yeah, and we'll just see how it goes. So I'm going to deliver this, and then as I'm coming across, I will stop at Newburgh, and I will get an empty weight there, and then we'll load our load in Prompton, which is our next load we're picking up. And then the first scale I come to after I load in Prompton, I will scale it again, and we'll calibrate on both of those, an empty and a heavyweight, and hopefully that will get it set. That'll be 4 times I've scaled it. It's like you're doing this so you can save a little money on scale tickets, because they're $15 a pop, and then immediately after you spend $450 for the air scales, then you're spending another $60 in scale tickets. So I'm like $510 into this now, and they're not working, and it's pretty frustrating. So, but it could just be because of the cold. So we'll see. Maybe it's supposed to get a little warmer here today and tomorrow, so maybe they'll work a good bit better. It's supposed to show you real time. So now, one thing I read online last night was that if you set it to agriculture, it'll connect faster. So I just put that setting on. I don't know, but we're not going to worry about it that much. I have to get rolling. I have a buddy that lives in Tampa, Florida, and he always messages me when it's super cold up here and says, you know, it looks chilly or something like that. So, all right, let's get moving. Figure I'll lose a couple minutes because we're heavy as shit. So it should put us there right on time, I would think. should be due in at Poughkeepsie, I think around 9:30 maybe. So it should be fine. And then, like I said, we've got another load in Prompton, PA. So it's a bulldozer going down to Orkney Springs, Virginia. So I'll pick that up today and take it home tonight, and then I'll get up in the morning and run it down there and get it delivered. And then hopefully we can grab something else. Keep rolling. Alright guys, we are coming up on the Newburgh Beacon Bridge. It is 8:34, so we're right on time. So the bridge here at Newburgh goes from Newburgh over to Beacon, is restricted for oversized loads from 6 until 8:30 in the morning. So after 8:30 you're allowed to roll through after you call them and tell them you're coming. So we called this morning and they said, yep, come on through as long as it's after 8:30. So I stayed at a hotel about it was a little less than 100 miles. Actually, no, that's a lie. It was 77 miles from the bridge this morning. So I left there about 7, and it's 8:36 right now. We are headed across the bridge. So once we get across the bridge, I am going to hit Route 9, and we're going to take that north up to, I believe it's Arlington. We make a right onto 44, and we're going to take that right through Arlington. It's like arterial road east over to 55, and then 55 takes us down to Knoxon Road, which is where the cat dealer is. So we're about 20 miles away. I've been up to this cat dealer a couple times before, but it has been a while. I don't think I've ever taken, I think it's been at least, I don't know, probably a year and a half since I've been up here, maybe 2 years. Exit, getting off onto 9. We'll head up to Poughkeepsie. If you guys enjoy this type of content, heavy haul trucking or trucking in general, be sure to subscribe to the channel. I got all kinds of videos on the channel, hauling all kinds of equipment. Try to put out a couple videos a week. So go ahead and subscribe. And also hit that notification bell. That way when I put a new video out, you know immediately when it's out, and you can give it a look. If you guys are interested in a nice hoodie, check out my merch store. We've got hoodies, t-shirts. I know it's been cold up here in the Northeast, Pennsylvania, New York area. If you need a beanie for the winter, we got those too. So go check that out. It has been a cold winter, at least in this area. Usually in Pennsylvania, you'll have a few days where it gets down single digits, every winter. But it'll go back and forth. So you'll have a cold week, and then you might have a week that it gets up to 35 or 40, even in January and February. But this winter, it has just gotten cold and stayed cold. So it's been pretty rough. We got snow like 3 weeks ago, and it is just sticking around because it has not warmed up. Now we're heading through Wappingers Falls. Right, we are getting into Poughkeepsie. Now we have to take a left exit in about a mile. To get onto 44. Go ahead over. So now we're half a mile from the exit. If I'm remembering correctly, this one's kind of tight. So we'll just have to take it slow. Oh, and there's a bunch of people merging. Why is he sitting there? Come on. Oh my gosh. These people kill me. Last thing I need is to take out somebody's car with a track of an excavator or something. And yet they just sit there. Now this is the tight part. So we're just going to take it slow. The problem is that there's a bunch of snow on the road. Okay. Oh, and they have a truck parked there, so I can't see. That's perfect. Okay, we are definitely going to have to pick our spot to come out. Is this guy waiting for me? Yes. You are a scholar and a gentleman, sir. That was a gnarly exit. So now I'll just stay over here in the right lane. Give him a wave. Gotta be careful coming through here because the snow is piled up on the right side. And while it probably wouldn't hurt the excavator, I don't want to plow the snow as I'm coming through either. All right. Hopefully that's the worst of it. I'm not gonna stop. So there's signs up that say the signals are set for 30 miles an hour. So I'm trying to make it all the way through here without getting stopped at a light. So far it's working. Oh. Well, that's not set for 30 because I was doing 34 and it changed on me. All right, so now we're getting off of 44 and onto 55. Now we've got 2 miles down to Knoxon Road, and the cat dealer is on Knoxon Road. So we're almost there. Alright, this should be Knoxon Road, here in the right lane. Alright, now we are 6/10 of a mile from the cat dealer up here. I think it's H.O. Penn Equipment. I'm always happy when I get a big load, a wide load like this off the trailer, because I don't know, it gets nerve-wracking coming through little towns like that. I feel like if it was really wide, like it was 14 feet or something, I've never hauled anything that wide, but if it was 14 feet, you'd have a pilot car and you'd take 2 lanes. So you'd actually have more room on either side. This is like, it's just under how big it is that you need a pilot car, so you got to stay in one lane, and then when there's snow that makes the lanes narrower or anything like that, it can be a real headache. Alright, so this is our spot. Swing it a little wide. Come right in here. Now, I think the last time I was here, they had me drop just straight ahead here. So we will pull straight ahead and we'll see where they want me. I think it was like right here.